One St. Martin People Party is demanding NVGEBE to reduce the fuel clause. Laugh till belly burst in Hennessy to host Miss Elceda comedic event. But first, petition to expel pedophiles to be enforced, says Shillingford. And those are the headlines for Thursday, January 15th, 2015. I'm Sharon Freiberg for AVS News, and now for the details. Patrol to Expel Pedophiles is an organization founded by the Vice President of the Youth Parliament, Makita Shillingford, and her mother, Brenda Maynard, to bring about the awareness of adults having sexual relations with children, which is called pedophilia. In light of this, a press conference was held where Makita related her encounter with a pedophile.
On December 18th, 2014, I left my school to go to town to meet my parents and my friend. And on my way, I caught bus 147. And there was two passengers, myself, him, and his cousin. The two passengers came off at Coolsack, and we stayed on the bus, and then he kept asking for my name, which I notified was irrelevant. And then after a numerous amount of time, I gave him a name, Diana. And then he kept asking for my number. And I was like, my age is 16, quote unquote. And he said that, unquote, he's 32, so it doesn't matter. And then it continued for a whole 20 minutes. And then he turned around and touched me. And I moved away. And then I told him to continue to talk to his cousin or whoever it was. After he was like, it's my cousin, so I can't do anything with him. So I was on the phone with my friend after I was telling my friend what's happening. And when I come off the phone, he was like, you can dump whoever on the phone and you could be with me. Just give me your name, your number, and your address. And then after 20 minutes, I reached town at KFC after continuously telling him to stop the bus. And he was like, no, I'm not stopping the bus unless you give me your name and your number, etc., etc. And then finally I called my parents, well, pretended to call my parents, and raised my tone a few octaves for him to stop the bus. And then when I stopped the bus at Canigita Street, I walked up the alley between the market and the church and saw my friend. And when I turned around and told my friend what was happening, in a matter of few seconds, and I turned around, the man was behind of me staring at me with a smile on his face. So we decided to go to my parents and tell my parents what happened. And then we decided to go to the police station. But we didn't have the bus number. So obviously we had to wait for the bus to come back up to see what number it was. When the bus came back up, a small altercation happened until the police came. And we were sent to the police station to wait on a detective. As we was there, the detective stated that there's no articles against what the gentleman did because I willingly went on the bus and he didn't touch me long enough or far enough for it to be considered breaking an article. So from there, without no follow-up, we decided to take a stand.
More of this press conference will be aired in our Friday's news broadcast. And Minister of Public Housing, Environment, Special Development and Infrastructure, Department of Infrastructure Management, invited community police officers and traffic officers to a strategy dialogue that focused on environmental and social challenges. The meeting, which discussed issues surrounding the removal of car wrecks, non-compliance of debris, garbage, transportation, infrastructural damage, and unkept greenery that could become hazardous, among other topics, was led by Department Head Claudius Buncamper and attended by Head Inspector Bloeman, Head Inspector Gout, Inspector Rogers, and other members of the police department, as well as supporting staff of the Public Works Department. And in other news, on January 12th, Complaint Officer Carmencita Lamar gave a presentation to the group 8 students of the Sister Borgia School about the role of ombudsman and the structure of the St. Martin government. The presentation is the first of many that are to follow this year as part of a school drive. And up next, 2-megawatt solar project to be realized, says Maduro. We'll have that story when we return. Be sure to stay with us. Prosecutor's office and the police department. The main topic of this meeting was to put a better structure where internal systems are linked to each other, where information will be electronically shared and kept up to date. Now, this will allow the public prosecutor's office to effectively share correct information to the receiver's office and other government departments that are involved in the collection of unpaid fines. The system will also be used to effectively at the airport and harbor, where all departing passengers with outstanding fines will be identified and given the opportunity to have their outstanding fines paid. And chairman of the Supervisory Board of Directors of Water and Electricity Company, NVGEBE, Renee Richardson, stated during an invited comment on the Oral Gibbs Live talk show that he is confident that within the next 5-year investment plan of the company, the fuel clause price will be reduced.
I am confident that within that 5-year period of the investment, capital investment plan that we have, which of course the public will be informed about that when everything is well put together. It's put together, we have to get approval from the shareholder. Once that is done, we are of course in discussion with the shareholder because a lot of money is involved. We're talking about a lot of money. And therefore, once that is done, definitely I'm convinced that the price is going to go down. Okay. We are convinced. It's not just a talk. You know me, OJ, I do not like talking. I like actions. And Mr. Maduro knows that too. He's also a man of action. He has worked in the plant for 10 years in operation, so he knows what it means. And he, as every day, he hears the cries of the people, and we know that it's high. But I'm confident, and I just said a while ago, that the fuel clause, it's going down next month again, and we have the relief for the 62 plus folks. That is a help. We also have the general relief. I think that the people maybe have seen that too. I also heard a lot of people saying that my bill has dropped from one lady told me her bill was $90-something. Now she paid 50-something. Yeah. She says it was like a miracle. Maybe that was a lady that got maybe part of the relief. But we are looking to give everyone a relief, and I am confident, I repeat again, I am confident that this will definitely take place within a year or two.
And Chief Operation Officer and President of the Board, Engineer Romelio Maduro, gave an outline on some of the immediate plans of the company.
We are also taking lead and trying to bring in new technology. Like I said, we are busy with this 2-megawatt solar project there that we hopefully want to get off the ground within the next few weeks.
2 megawatt?
2-megawatt solar project. So yes, we had quite a bit of negotiation, and we believe we reached the last phase right now, whereas once it is presented and it is approved by the supervisory board, we can roll this out. But GB, like I said, GB role has changed. It is not the same role as many years ago where we just follow the demand, we buy a new engine, we just expand on the distribution grid, and we say, okay, that's it. No. Renewable energy, we cannot stop that process, and we don't want to stop the process. As a matter, we need to embrace that new technology. And because of that, we need to change our role. We need to manage energy. So we need to go over to energy management, whereas we would have different people that produce electricity, and we need to know how to manage this. In order to manage this, you need to have smart metering, of which we already have on the island. Here and there, we have these digital meters that are smart. They can communicate direct. You have different possibilities. Even someone that tries to tamper with the meters, we will get an indication, and we can eventually disconnect them. These meters also have the possibilities of post-payment, but also prepayment. So in other words, a consumer can manage their expenses on a monthly basis much more better. Yeah. We want to go over to gas. We have a project right now with Telen where we're talking about smart neighborhood, a neighborhood where you get fiber to the door, you can read your electricity and water meters.
Can we have it tomorrow?
Well, we're busy with it. We're busy with it.
Excited. I want to see that soon.
So there's certain things we are busy with, and of course it might be in the background, it's not maybe mentioned, but we're busy with this, and we want to roll it out in 2 areas. And once we have gotten the right formula, gotten the right equipment, iron out all technical issues, then we can say, hey, we can roll it out on a mass production. And to really explain where we're going to, the direction that we're going with GB is, we want GB to be a leading company within the Caribbean, but we also want St. Martin to be a leading country within the Caribbean.
Meanwhile, leader of the One St. Martin People Party, Lenny Priest, stated in an invited comment with AVS News on Thursday that he has taken note of the media report coming from GB and the government of St. Martin regarding the dropping of the prices of crude oil, and said that he finds it is very unfortunate that GB is not providing the people of St. Martin with the relief to their fuel clause.
We believe that if crude oil prices are dropping, then it should mean also that the heavy fuel oil that GB is using, that those prices are also dropping. And based on the fact that the bills the bills from GB are showing a fuel clause at X amount, we believe that that price should also drop. Throughout the entire Caribbean, throughout the world, as a matter of fact, all governments are providing their people with relief. We believe that St. Martin, the resident of St. Martin, should also enjoy that type of relief. The cost of living in St. Martin is extremely high. One of the major factors in the cost of living is the high cost of GB electricity bill, in particular the fuel clause. We have written, and this is the One St. Martin People Party, as the leader of the party, we have written to the President of Parliament requesting that they call the board of GB and the management to come to Parliament and explain to Parliament and the people of St. Martin why the citizens of St. Martin are not receiving any type of relief.
In addition, Priest stated that because of the aforementioned, his party is demanding GB to reduce the fuel clause according to what is happening with crude oil on the international market.
Very insulted with a press release that was issued by the management and the supervisory board of GB, making mention about insurance and marketing and transportation. As far as we're concerned, that should have absolutely no type of impact of GB being in the position to reduce the fuel clause. We do understand, as GB indicated, that they do not price the heavy fuel. We understand that. But we know one thing for sure, that no country in the world determined basically the fuel clause that GB is basically pricing or charging the people of St. Martin. So therefore, we are demanding that, one, the fuel clause be reduced. We expect our Parliament of St. Martin, the members that have been elected by the people of St. Martin, who are basically being paid a very good salary, to call GB, to call the Prime Minister who is responsible for GB, to call them to Parliament and let them address the nation by letting them know the reason why those fuel clauses cannot be reduced. If it is happening throughout the Caribbean, throughout the world, then St. Martin should not be no exception. We are demanding that the fuel clause on the electricity bill, that they be adjusted according to the prices, according to the reduction that is happening right now with crude oil on the international market.
Taking a look now at our weather forecast, the Atlantic high pressure ridge will continue to generate moderate easterly trades across the region. Shallow patches of moisture drifting with this wind flow may produce occasional cloudy spells with brief passing showers. Seas will gradually subside during the course of today, and therefore the small craft advisory remain in effect until this evening. As a result, small craft operators and sea bathers should continue to exercise caution, particularly in the Atlantic waters. And now for our 3-day forecast. Up next, laugh till belly burst in Hennessy to host Miss Elseda comedic event, and we'll have that story when we come back.
Life is a journey.
The Laugh Till Your Belly Bursts promotion is in its 10th year and will be hosting, in collaboration with Hennessy, a comedic stage play on Friday, January 30th, with Miss Elceda Delcita from Jamaica. The event is to be held at the Porte Plaisance and will start at 8 p.m. AVS News spoke with Linda Cox, who is the public relation officer, on Thursday, and she elaborated more on the upcoming event.
It's an exciting event. We're in our 10th year of Laughter Belly Bus, and come January 30th, Hennessy and Laughter Belly Bus will be presenting Delcita. This is the first time that this comedian has ever been to the island of St. Martin, and she is an excellent actress. It's a stage play. So it's a comedic stage play that we're going to be bringing to the island, and she rivals such Jamaican actors like Oliver and Shabada. I know in St. Martin we know those two very well. She's worked with those two, and she's right up there in terms of the type of work that she produces. This is her first time in St. Martin, and she's going to be doing a tour with her production. This is also the first time that this is a new production that she's coming out with. So it's a first on both ends for St. Martin. And we're really excited to have this play as a debut on the island.
Still to come, police meet with representatives of the 2015 Heineken Regatta. We'll be right back. On Tuesday, January 12th, a meeting between the organizers of the 2015 Heineken Regatta took place. This year, Heineken Regatta, which will be held from March 5th through the March 8th, is predicted to be larger than those events held in the previous years. This meeting was conducted to make sure everything goes well and all necessary preparations have been made. The main topics of discussion were safety, security, and traffic. The organizers of the event were represented by Nila Rambajan and Barbara DeWint, while the police department was represented by Acting Chief of Police Commissioner Carl John, Chief Inspector Benjamin Gout, and Inspector Rudolph Bluyman, said a release on Wednesday. And this has been the newscasts for Thursday, January 15, 2015. I'm Sharon Freiberg. Thank you for joining us. We'll meet you back here again tomorrow.